All right, with the world on high alert after this week's attacks in Brussels, there is renewed focus on U.S. immigration policy and whether it's too lax. The Visa Waiver Program, or VWP, allows citizens from some 38 different countries who meet certain requirements to enter the U.S. for 90 days without a visa. And one of those preferred countries, yes, is Belgium. Now, yesterday on Mornings with Maria, GOP presidential frontrunner Donald Trump was asked by Gerald Baker of The Journal if it is time to abolish the program in light of the recent terrorist attacks.
One of the problems that people have pointed to is that actually people can come into this country now without a visa, right? You don't have to get, they have a visa waiver program. Doesn't matter whether, frankly, whether you're a Muslim or Christian, atheist, whatever. You can you can come in under a visa waiver. You don't have to go through the security checks to get a visa. I mean, is it time to stop that?
Yeah, it's time to stop that, absolutely, Jerry. And frankly, look, we're having problems with the Muslims, and we're having problems with Muslims coming into the country, and we are seeing it, whether it's California, where they killed the 14 people, the two young married couple. I guess she possibly radicalized him. Nobody knows.
And she was here on a fiance visa.
She came here on a fiance visa. She came in. They say that he wasn't radicalized, but he was radicalized after he met her. And they killed 14 co-workers.
So, is the United States really doing everything it can to protect its citizens with programs like this? Well, joining me now is Marc Frey, former Department of Homeland Security Visa Waiver Program Director. You know all about this program, Marc. Explain to me exactly how it works and if we're missing something here.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and I'm happy to do so, because, in fact, the clip you just played, where the reporter asked the question, repeating the line, someone can come here under the Visa Waiver Program without any security checks, is just simply wrong. The program has quite a number of very robust security checks, and in fact, that's what makes it a counterterrorism tool and a national security tool for the United States. Just very quickly, there are four main components to the Visa Waiver Program that make it a security tool. The first is individualized screening. All visa waiver travelers are required to register online, and their information gets vetted against the same law enforcement and security databases as regular visa travelers. Second, you have required information sharing with Visa Waiver Program countries on both known and suspected terrorists and serious criminals. Third, Visa Waiver Program travelers are required to use secure travel documents, electronic passports with the biometric chip that help confirm identity. And fourth, one of the conditions of the Visa Waiver Program is that it permits the U.S. government, led by the Department of Homeland Security, to conduct very comprehensive inspections of a country's law enforcement, counterterrorism, border, and other security capabilities. And if flaws or gaps are identified, the United States can work closely with that government to fix those flaws. So really, the Visa Waiver Program is a misnomer in that it does not waive any security requirements. In fact, it increases some. The only thing it truly waives is the brief consular interview for members of the citizens of the 38 countries that participate.
Let me ask you this. So we know that, for instance, Belgium is one of those. We know that terrorists are very clever. We know that they have people who can forge documents very easily so that they don't show up on some sort of program, some alert, on a computer alert. It would be, I would assume, fairly easy if they meet all those requirements to get through and come into the United States without a visa, correct?
Well, I don't think it would be any easier than it would be for them to go through the visa process. I think the problem that we're faced with is one of intelligence more than anything else. The Visa Waiver Program.
With that in mind, Marc, and they come here and they can stay here for 90 days, and you know, in this world that we live in now, is it appropriate to do away with the visa portion of getting the documents to come to this country? Only because I say, yes, you know, maybe it's an intelligence issue rather than the Visa Waiver Program, but in this day and age, it's like almost all bets are off. Should we make it as hard as possible for those that want to do harm to us to be able to come to this country?
I think we should make it very hard for those who want to do harm to us to come to this country, but I also think we have to keep in mind the vast majority of people who want to come to this country for very legitimate reasons, whether that's for tourism, whether that's for business purposes,
right,
whether it's to visit relatives, etc. And I think we have to understand as well that the people who intend to do us harm are a very, very small percentage, and the visa waiver program facilitates secure travel, and I want to emphasize secure travel for millions of people every year from countries that are close U.S. allies and who do share information with us and who do work with us to fight terrorism issues as well as work with us on geopolitical issues all over the globe. So I think there are both, beyond the individual traveler, there are very significant diplomatic and economic consequences attached to the visa waiver program, including, by the way, and this is one of the things that people don't often mention, right, one of the requirements of the VWP is reciprocal visa-free travel for American citizens.
Right.
So if you remove the VWP, everyone in the U.S. who wanted to travel to one of these 38 countries would find themselves having to go to an embassy and apply for a visa, which I don't think people want.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Marc Frey, thank you so much. Former Director of Homeland Security's Visa Waiver Program.